in the low 3% range for the year, right? Hey, interest rates are going up. Are they? A little bit.
James, can I just say something real quick?
Please do.
The chairman of the Federal Reserve had said 6 months ago that their intent is to keep the interest rates low for the next 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it would be reading that report that they put out, and some of the reports that that I get from Nova Home Loans, and my financial advisor sends out these cool economic updates. It would be, the last one I read, it would be suicide if they raise the rates too fast. Too fast. Bless you. Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's okay. Bless you. Give us a chance to say that. So good morning. So this overall picture of what's going on in the market right now, every listing presentation that I go on, I bring these stats with me. Okay. And I'll dig into this. I have been our team's listing agent. Just a little bit of history with me. I've been in real estate for a little over 15 years now, and I've been our team's listing agent since 2015. Okay, that's all I do, work with listings. And it is very, very rare when I go on a listing appointment where I pick a price for somebody. 9 times out of 10, they pick their price and they are dead on. Okay, and it's because of this. Right? Highlight here, new listings, 1,284 new listings, down for the year, 6.4%, month over month, 6.6%. Okay. Are people listing and selling their homes right now?
Yes.
Yes. Right. It's very steady when you look at this. Yes, inventory is down. We'll talk about the inventory later on, but people are still listing and selling their homes. Okay. The townhome condo market, very, very flat. Are they building any more of those?
No.
Yeah. Nope, not building any more of those. We might see those come up in years to come, but right now, who here has a new construction home under contract? Yeah, there's a lot of folks out there. That's where a lot of this inventory is right now. Okay. So if you're not digging into new home construction and visiting all those sites and knowing what they have, that's inventory right now that's not always listed here. Okay. I forget the last percentage, but it's close to 75 if I'm not mistaken. 6 to 7 out of 10 out of our buyers agents are under contract on new construction right now. Okay. Questions about this slide? Thoughts? Good. Next one, pending sales. This is interesting. Why are pending sales higher than the new listings? How's that possible?
Off-market deals.
Part of it.
Higher fallout.
Right. What else?
We're just selling more than what's coming on the market.
Mm-hmm.
We're narrowing the gap.
Yeah. So if this keeps going the way it's going, we're at a record low inventory. There's no sign that it's slowing down. We might even go even lower. Right.
Wow.
This right here, I've been watching this for months now. And the inventory levels, it is, it's bananas. I'll leave it at that. Sean Edgar, you've been in real estate for a little bit. Do you remember having conversations with people in years past where, hey, I know your neighbor's house sold for 200, but you need to list yours at 190 because the market is going down this fast?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I remember people crying at kitchen tables when we'd go over what their house was not worth anymore. Right.
Yeah.
And then I also remember you and I remember before we were able to email a contract over and we were still using fax machines. Remember?
You'd
And,
show up at a showing in 2006 with a contract pre-filled out, ready to sign so that you could race back to the office.
Yes, ma'am.
And fax it to the other agent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would drive it over to their office sometimes and have their office make a copy of it and after that delivered it. I mean, it just is crazy, right?
But
Right.
keep in mind, think about this, James, in '06, in like August, September, October of '06, we had 10,320 listings on the market, and we were still dealing with multiple offers.
April 2007, 10,387 listings. I have that on a stat. The inventory levels are really what's driving the market today, right?
Yeah,
But keep an eye on this, these pending, how much of this is new construction where they list it, after they, when they put it under contract, how many builders out there have specs right now?
right.
Really, really dig into that new construction if you're a buyer's agent. I can't stress that enough. Know what they have out there. Okay. Next slide. Days on market until the sale. I remember when this was always magical 30 days. Remember when we used to be able to relist a property every 30 days and the days on market was 30 days. Today, I don't know about you, but our average days on market as a team right now is 3. And with the coming soon marketing, I love the new coming soon marketing. It is a great benefit if you are doing both sides of transactions right now, putting a home on the market coming soon and giving yourself an opportunity to hold it open for a few days and let it marinate on the market and let buyers see it. It's been a really, really good thing for our buyers agents. Okay. Food for thought. This conversation came up in a group the other day. If there's verbiage on the listing that says seller will review all offers over the weekend and respond by Monday.
Hi.
How many of you have seen that? Yeah.
Many times.
If you're a listing agent, stick to it. Right. I tell my sellers, hey, we are promising all of these buyers agents that we're going to let them see the house through the weekend. Right. The right thing to do is to let it go through the whole weekend. I know you might get an offer that seems too good to be true, but you might get another too good to be true offer the day after you get that first one, right? Another tactic that I've been using lately with sellers is getting their permission to give basic terms of offers that we have on the table. Okay. Dan, may I chat with you about that for a little bit?
Absolutely.
You're a buyer's agent. We have a listing on Rose Hill. It's in Mesquite Ranch, 3-car garage, 1,500 square feet, single story, cute as a button, ready to go, fresh, nothing wrong with the house, right? Multiple offers already, right? You know it. It says it on the listing. We are in a multiple offer situation. Seller will review all offers on Monday, and then you call me. Go.
Hey, James, Big Dan Caldwell, Keller Williams. How are you, bud?
Hey, I'm great. How can I help you?
Hey, we got a client that's really interested in that Rose Hill property. I see you guys got multiple offers going on right now. Can you tell me what your best offer is so far?
You know what? I actually do have permission from my seller to give basic terms of the offers. Let's do this. Tell me what your folks are thinking, and I'll let you know where you stand compared to the other offers.
Well, I've got a really motivated buyer that's really wanting to put an offer in. They've been beat out a few times. I'm sure you know this market is crazy right now. What are your sellers looking to get?
Well, let's do, once again, tell me what your folks are thinking and I'll let you know where you stand, right? That's one way. And here's another way. When you have 2 or 3 offers, I like that. Tell me what your folks are thinking and I'll let you know where you stand, right? And if you tell me, hey, we're going to come in 50,000 down payment and, I'm just using these numbers and 200, conventional loan, great. You want to put that on paper today, please, right? When we end up with, our record right now, we had a home that had 27 something offers on it this last weekend. That's when I'll just shoot you straight, Dan. Hey, you're up against a $230,000 purchase price with a $50,000 down payment and an appraisal waiver.
Okay, is the down payment what's getting your sellers interested?
That's what's motivating them the most right now, a high down payment.
Okay, so if I could bring something that's more attractive to that, we have stake in the game.
Yes, sir. They are not necessarily looking at the highest priced offer. They're looking at the strongest down payment, most likely to close.
Okay.
All right.
Would it be beneficial for you to have my lending officer call you and talk to your sellers directly and let them know how strong my clients are?
No, I've received a lot of those phone calls and they're great and I appreciate them. I love the lenders that do that. But at this point, I haven't even had a chance to present all the offers to the seller. Let me present them all first. And then if they're in the running, Absolutely. Let's talk to that lender.
Perfect. I'll get you over something today, James. I think we're going to be in the ballpark.
Here's another thing to remember too. I'm on a team. I have help. And even with the help, I fielded over 105 phone calls for one listing on Saturday. Okay. Most of the agents are nice. Most of them are, right? And then you also have some that aren't.
Don't bully people into making a decision that's not going to get your offer accepted.
Yeah. I'm not that person to pick on. Please don't do that. So, okay. Anyways, days on market. It's important for your seller when you're talking about when you run through a CMA in a neighborhood and there's a bunch of single digits, 0, 3, 1, 3, right? You might have somebody that is worried about moving out of their house first and selling it. We happen to help out a ton of military folks, and most of our clients today move out of your house and then we'll sell it. You might make one mortgage payment, maybe, right? Why stress yourself out and try and sell it when you're in the home? Find your new spot, and then we'll sell your house, okay? Or the other way around, hey, as soon as I put your house on the market, get ready. You need to start packing tonight. It's going to happen really, really fast, okay? Questions about this, days on market?
These are some of the things for to know, huh?
I'm sorry.
James, I was just going to say, I don't know if, and I know you handle this very well, but the sellers, you can't prepare them enough for the onslaught of showings and interest in their properties when they go on the market. I've actually had sellers call me and say, you warned us, but we had no idea that it was going to be this crazy.
Yeah, it's scripts that I've been using lately. We are going to have to create an Excel sheet to show you all the features and benefits of the offers that we get on the property. One. Two, hey, the first weekend on the market, you might want to consider taking a little staycation, right? Hey, I have a connection at the Star Pass Marriott. If you and the family would like to go hang out at the Star Pass Marriott, maybe I can get you a deal there for the weekend, right? When I say I handled 140 or 104 phone calls for this one listing, it takes a lot of time, right? And I don't want people at the end of their street, right, listening to watching people go in and out of their house, right? Especially if they have a dog or kids or something like that. Prep them, let them know it's going to be bananas this first weekend. Okay.
James, are you guys utilizing the use of open houses to drive the traffic into an organized chaos instead of having the random showings throughout?
Depends. If it's vacant, game on. If it's an occupied home, we have one, for example, that has a tenant in it, and we are going to schedule a 4-hour window of showings. Hey, buyer's market, if you want this house, you have 4 hours to look at it and make your decision and write an offer. But the benefit of that coming soon marketing helps us out too. It'll be coming soon on the market several days prior to that, so everybody will get a chance to see it. Okay.
Hey, James, when you talk about your listings that have multiple offers that high, what's that price point look like?
From 2 to 5, you name it.
Thank you.
Another script that I've been using with sellers today. Who am I to tell you what a buyer will pay for your house in today's market? I'm not going to speak for you, right? Raise your hand if you've had an appraisal come in low or lower than the contract price recently. Yeah. Don't make that a bad thing, right? Leah, the reason I'm picking on you is because I can see you. You're a seller of a house, right? Hey, you know what? We've had a lot of appraisals come in low recently, so just get ready. I mean, even with today's market, I mean, if an appraisal comes in low, you need to drop your price, right? How does that sound compared to, hey, we have lots of appraisals that are coming in lower than the contract price, and here's why. We're going to list your house at 250. It's most likely going to go under contract higher than 250, right? And we all know from the numbers right here at 250, you're pushing the high end of the market that's going on in your neighborhood right now anyways. And if we sell it for higher than that, it's all okay. If an appraiser comes in though and says, hey, I can't get 275 for your house, I can only give it 260. As long as you land somewhere between where you listed and where you went under contract for, you, Leah, have to look at that like that's icing on the cake. That's gravy on the biscuit. You maxed out on your house. In my opinion, the right thing to do is to lower the price to that appraised value because it's fair for the buyer. You made the most money for your house. It's a win-win for everybody. How does that sound?
That sounds much better than the first thing you said.
Yeah. So be careful when you're talking about appraisals and the crazy market with the things coming in low, right? Who here has got an appraiser to change their mind in the past year or 2 years? Yeah. Do you even know that they've changed their mind? A lot of times when we get tidewatered is what they call it. We don't even know. We just know, hey, we're having a hard time finding the value. Send me your comps. And then the appraisal gets turned in, right?
We just had one, James, in my neighborhood, actually. The appraiser called around and they got to my listings, called and said, you're the expert in the area. Just tell me what the price should be.
Mhm.
A Phoenix
Now-
appraiser just didn't want to do the work.
Yep. And here's when you get phone calls from those appraisers, answer their questions, help them out. A lot of times you're right, Dan. It's the first time they've seen that house. They might not live in that neighborhood, right?
We're providing a lot of appraisal packages too. We're letting them know how many offers we had, how many offers over list.
Mhm.
A lot of them are actually waiving the appraisal also.
Yes, with large down payments. That's another reason why I'm coaching sellers to go for large down payments because I lost count on how many appraisal waivers we've received recently on properties.
Mhm.
Next one.
James, can I
Yes,
hop
ma'am.
in real quick? And I just want to go back to something you had mentioned earlier, and it's about being nice to the other people in our industry. Let's play nice in our sandbox because I went through a multiple offer situation and I got bullied by an agent. What they didn't know is that when she called me, I was standing in front of my client and they could hear her through the phone. And they said, we will not use that agent, period, done. And
Yeah.
her offer got completely dismissed based upon how she treated me.
Yep.
I'm really
So
sorry about that, Krista. I'm sorry.
be cautious. I mean, and it was our highest offer. And they said, we are not going to do that. And just to reinstill the faith of all you buyers agents out there are sellers who are looking to put Tucsonans in home. They're not looking for investors. They're looking for the right fit for their home.
Oh,
So
yeah.
we didn't go with the all cash offer. We didn't go with the highest. We went for what fits what the seller wanted to do. So
Good point.
just restoring faith in humanity.
Yeah, good point. I have had sellers that have not chosen the highest offer before because of a story. So don't be afraid to tell your buyer's story.
You have to be very cautious about telling your buyer's story and make sure that you're not putting your sellers in a position that they're violating fair housing laws.
Exactly.
Thank you for bringing that up. I'm glad John is on the call. If I receive a letter with a picture of a family and I forward that over to a client and that client accepts that offer because of the awe factor for that family, how does that affect fair housing, right? Are there some places where they're not, are there some places where they are not allowed to send over letters? I've actually seen on some listings, do not send letters. What did it say? Don't send love letters. I'm not going to present them to the seller, right? Interesting topic for another class, right? How are those letters affecting fair housing, right? Be careful with that, okay? Median sales price. The median sales price, when the median sales price is ratcheting up like it has been over this past year, to me, that's the tide, right? The average can change when you sell a couple $1 million homes here in Tucson, but that median sales price is a lot harder to move. So when that median sales price is moving up like it is, that's when you really know that the market is ratcheting up, okay? Average sales price. same thing, right? Our average sales price right now, there are a lot of folks out there that are priced out of the market right now. Okay. It is so hard for buyers that are in that $175,000 to $225,000 price range, right? Who here knows what you can buy a brand new house here in Tucson for today?
330.
Starting, where at?
You're averaging around 400.
I've seen 365.
A starting price point lowest I've seen was 270.
Mhm. Yep.
Lowest I've seen is 240.
Yep.
New build.
So, yeah. And I'm not going to tell folks how old I am, but I remember being able to buy a brand new house here in Tucson for $85,000. Brand new. That's where I met Pat Leach. So Glenda Grow. Yeah, this average price is just, it's crazy. But when you look at it nationwide, how many folks have had folks come in from the coasts and look at a $500,000-$600,000 house and they're like, that's easy, right? It's still a very affordable place to live, right? Next slide. This is, I gotta scoot everybody over. The percent of list price received, basically 100%. When you look at comps for a neighborhood, there are so many times where I see listed at 250, sold at 265, listed at 270, sold at 275. That's really why this is happening. Okay. So it's not a bad thing. It's just another picture of the pace of today's market. This for buyer's agents, if you want a low ball, okay.
Good luck.
And let me refer you to Tracy Costello. He's willing to write a whole bunch of offers for you until you. So, but really, if you have somebody that wants to lowball on a property that is, I'll try and be nice, an odd house. Everybody's seen them. The house that is not normal, right? The house that is, there's the house in my neighborhood recently that had glossy red cabinets, right? And it was on the market a year ago plus, and it sat for a little bit, went under contract twice, and then fell off the market. Went on the market today for probably 30,000 higher and popped, right? That same buyer that probably lost out on that house before is probably kicking themselves today, you know? Yeah, don't get in your buyer's way with that. If they want to write an offer at or above a listing price, but also really coach them on wanting to lowball something that is in okay shape, right?
James, I have a question.
I have an answer.
Is there any way to pull this percent of list price received for different price brackets?
I think if you do the stats, because the stats have changed a lot recently, how they run market stats for neighborhoods. I've dug in with a few of those in a few neighborhoods and CMAs and everything like that. That's where I just run a CMA for that neighborhood, and you can actually see that price gap for that neighborhood right there.
Are you talking about price banding, Leah?
Yeah, just like the different brackets of, like 500 to 600, what percentage of list price are they receiving, et cetera. So
Yeah, I know.
I've been watching the market pretty closely, and we don't have the same tools that we did even 6 months ago. But there has been a dramatic increase in even the number of properties over $1 million that are selling.
yeah, I see that. So I'd be curious to know, how close they're selling the list price as well, on average.
I know in this, I know what you're talking about. In the stats that we used to get, it would have the different price brackets, the $10,000 price brackets and the inventory in those different levels and the percent of
the number of sales and in each price bracket.
That'd be an interesting question for the MLS and see if they have a way to run those stats.
How can we request that? Because that is super helpful.
Well, they've changed a lot of the things about our stats. Aaron and I have been having some discussions because they used to tell us the percentage of cash versus conventional versus VA versus FHA loans that are in the market. I've called them twice asking where those numbers are and why we don't have access to them anymore, and that they won't call me back.
Okay, let's all call them.
I think
So-
that's what it's gonna take. They need to know they're not serving their clients.
Can I jump in here?
Sure.
Yes.
Leah, if you go to the MLSAZ.com and you log into your main login, under the stats in the center of the orange stats, you can create in the info sparks a custom scale to look at price per market and create your own price banding.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Thank
so
you.
That
And
way
that's
you
what I
can do
was
what you're trying to do and create your own banding.
That's what I was gonna say too. They took a lot of those away, but there's also different tools that I haven't explored all the way where you can do it for specific neighborhoods, zip codes, types of homes.
None of them address how much cash is in our market right now.
Yeah. I get it. Things have changed, Sean. I don't like it either. But I also still am a super fan of all of the stats that we do have available to us, right?
I would agree.
So housing affordability index, I've never really paid too much attention to this because it's always stayed pretty steady. 120 is the number. That's the magic number. That's all I've known about it is when it's at 120, it's good. When it goes below that, it's harder, right? Look at this stat, that minus 3.3%, minus 7.2%. Harder and harder for folks to afford homes here in Tucson. Okay, so just be aware of that. You might have a lot of folks that, like we talked about, getting priced out of the market. This one, the inventory for homes for sale, sorry. This is one of the biggest reasons I talk about for folks of why their house is going to sell quickly and what's going on in today's market and the driver of today's market. Because when you look at the actual home sales, we'll look at that later, month in and month out. We sell the same number of homes month in and month out. That does not change, right? What makes it either a buyer or a seller's market is the inventory. That's it. Sean is correct. I have a little red text box that I add to these stats right up here. April 2007, 10,387 homes on the market. Today, 727. That's it. The shelves are bare when you go into the store today, folks. There's
The
no
absorption rate is less than 2 weeks.
Mhm. Yeah. So, when you get a listing and you put it on the market, you're going to field 100+ phone calls and a bunch of offers, right? As a buyer's agent, if something pops up on the market, I have buyer's agents right now on our team that will have folks write an offer on a house sight unseen as they're FaceTiming through the home, right? That has been on the market for an hour, right? It's fun, right? It's kind of cool, right, Tracy? You just go after it, Don't be afraid to write an offer sight unseen. I've coached all of our sellers. In markets past, I was very reluctant to coach you to accept an offer where a buyer had not seen the house, right? But that was back when you could put 10 thumbnail sized pictures on the MLS and good luck with video. Today, on your phone, you can see 50 high definition pictures, plus a Matterport tour, plus a video tour, right? On those Matterport tours, you can see the different sheen on paints. You can see spots on carpet. You can measure walls. You can measure windows. If you have those virtual reality goggles, you can walk through the house. Why not? Why not accept an offer sight unseen today, right? So I wish Juan was on the call. I think that guy sold like 35 houses last year sight unseen. The folks moved in and saw it for the first time. So don't be afraid of that.
We've got 6 deals in PC right now that are sight unseen.
Mm-hmm. So the inventory, the lowest it's ever been, lowest interest rates could double and people would still be buying homes. So if folks complain about interest rates and they're going up, or, what if they go to 4? Okay. What if they go to 6? All right. Don't be afraid of that. Okay. The month supply of inventory, that absorption rate, lowest ever. Right. So if you have buyers out there that are like, we'll just wait until Monday to figure out if we want to write an offer on the house. Nope. Sorry. Right. I'm going to email you the contract right now. Please press hard or click hard now. Click hard. Remember when there was the carbon paper? Remember that? This one is one of my favorite sections of these stats right here. Okay, this is where I dig into like the closed sales. When you look at these numbers, like the 0.9 down and the plus 4.4 total, this is what I'm talking about with the closed sales. We're selling the same number of homes month in and month out, right? Median and average raised up a lot. Percent of list price received. Even if you just took this one page with you on a listing or a buyer's consult, just about all the information you need is right here.
Mhm.
Okay, well, we're receiving basically 100%. Okay, inventory of homes for sale, lowest it's ever been. You can have a little note over here. It used to be 10,000 homes, right? If we stopped letting people sell homes, 0.6 months, we'd be done. We wouldn't have any homes left to sell. Okay. I'm going to stop sharing my screen right now. Discussion time, because we have a little time left. I know this is typically an hour. If Aaron was here, we'd probably be going until 10:30. I'm just kidding. Don't tell Aaron I said that. But discussion time. I want to talk about clauses that have been written on offers for buyers to help them win. Additional terms. Things that I'm seeing as a listing agent. I do see a lot of offers. So I feel like I can give a lot of insight on good and bad, not bad, good and less than desirable verbiage for clauses. Things that I'm seeing a lot lately, appraisal waivers. We'll talk about that. As is, we'll take the house as is. Let's talk about that a little bit. Escalation clauses. Let's talk about that a little bit. Sunset clauses. I'm going to write you an offer for $200,000 for this house today. If you accept my offer by 5 o'clock tonight, my offer goes up to 205. If you don't accept it by 5 o'clock tonight, then it's back at 200,000. Let's talk about that, right? And then the communication piece of it, right? Some of the offers that I received look like they were faxed to me. I've received JPEGs, pictures of individual pages of offers sent to me and documents sent to me in a file that's 50 megabytes. I've received offers that have gone into my junk mail, no phone call, no text, and then they get upset when I don't know that I've received the offer, right? The responses, let's talk a little bit about that too, best practices for that. When I receive 27 offers on a property, we like to have the seller sign the rejected page of all of the other offers that weren't accepted, except for a backup offer, just to acknowledge that everybody has seen it. But once we sign that, it's dead, right? You have to start over again. I've had agents on our team tell me that listing agents will just say, well, just hold on to all the offers, right? We've sent emails to everybody. Hey, if you're getting this email, I'm sorry, but the seller chose another offer, right? Is that good enough communication? Does every agent out there deserve a phone call when their offer doesn't get accepted?
Oh.
Right. So let's talk a little bit about clauses. And my favorite one right now is the dual escalation clause / appraisal waiver contingency. And that appraisal waiver contingency can either be we're waiving it, or we will pay the difference if the home doesn't appraise up to, let's use $10,000. Okay. Verbiage for that. Tracy, have you written up an appraisal waiver recently?
Yeah.
How do you word that?
Hold on, I'll pull it up and I'll tell you. I'll just read it to you.
Okay.
Pretty straightforward. I got it right here. Sorry, you caught me off guard. I would have been prepared if you would warn me.
He warned you.
Can we come back to you?
No, I got it. In the event appraisal value comes in under the contract purchase price, the buyer agrees to pay up to $10,000 above the appraisal, not to exceed the contract price, or $300,000, whichever is less. The buyer shall provide the seller with a copy of the appraisal if this event occurs.
And I'm not sure if John is on there, but I'm sure Nancy can speak to this. What if it comes in, what if the appraisal comes in more than $10,000 low?
Well, in that situation, the buyer's already, if it was accepted, the buyer's only agreeing to pay up to 10K. Then the seller still has the final say, allowing to either reduce down to the delta, or the buyer can come up or cancel the deal.
So here's the question, a very intelligent question that we received from a seller recently. If the home appraises for more than that $10,000 gap, am I required to reduce the price to that new price?
No.
Not at all.
Yeah. Where does it say that then in my counter offer? Because I'm going to counter, right? And so there's really slick verbiage. And like I said, I'm glad Nancy's on the call. And the spirit of it is buyer and seller agree that if the property appraises for more than that $10,000 gap, buyer or seller is not obligated to reduce the price. That way it's spelled out, right? No, we're not agreeing to reduce it to the appraised value no matter what, right? Does that sound good, Nancy?
According to what I'm hearing you say, there's still an appraisal contingency, but the buyer's willing to come up at least 10,000 or, so the verbiage in the appraisal contingency in the contract would stand. And it does say that the seller is not obligated to lower their price. So unless you put something in that counter offer that completely negates that, the contract does cover that.
So just stating that in the contract, so that verbiage isn't necessarily needed.
Right. And here's the thing, if there's one word out of place, or if it's worded incorrectly, it could negate what's written in the contract. And we don't want that unless it's very specific.
Okay.
So I would think the agents would want to be careful about how they would word that. So anyway, that's my 2 cents.
Okay, no, I appreciate that because I've gone back and forth with it. Like I agree with you. The contract states that already. The appraisal contingency is there. You're not, the verbiage in some of the additional terms that I'm receiving is buyer is willing to, or I've received buyer is waiving the appraisal contingency pursuant to section, is it 2J of the contract, right? And this is just my personal opinion, I'm very reluctant to do that. If I'm representing you as a buyer, why would I hang you out there like that?
Exactly.
Why would I risk you like that? What risk is there to a seller accepting that contract that way, if any?
Well, the risk is if they're doing financing, it might not appraise, I mean, it's not, it might appraise for such an off amount. Well, the seller's not going to have to pay the difference anyway. So that's, but I think the seller could be risking a viable offer by having high dreams of that too, if that makes sense.
Because typically when I see that appraisal waiver, it's on a $200,000 house with a $240,000 contract.
Yeah.
And the house is legitimately a $200,000 house, right?
Yeah.
Payment look like.
The other risk that the seller is running at that point is if they are not willing to reduce their price down to the appraised value and they end up going back on the market. Even in this market, after they've done that a couple of times, they become stigmatized and it gets harder and harder to sell that property. And they're going to end up selling it for less than if they just taken the appraised value or taken the 10 grand over the appraised value.
And that's why I coach the buyer's agents too. Please have your offer signed as a backup offer if it's in second place, right? There's a lot of times we've sold homes twice and the public doesn't even see it because that backup offer has just come into effect.
Well, James, with that, I love that you kind of set up your sellers to look at that. Great, it didn't appraise at full value. You didn't leave any money on the table. Plus, you're getting a $10,000 buffer on top of it.
Exactly.
So, Yeah, the risk is what happens if it goes back in the market and you don't receive another offer, or you pay a couple extra mortgage payments. The risk becomes going beyond the deal.
Mhm.
But I love the way you set up. I've actually used that script before, trying to get sellers to come off of the seller greed. Well, I got multiple offers over this price and it appraised low. We'll just get one of those offers and get a new appraisal.
Mhm.
So you said, well, great, you can leave money on the table.
And it's the same thing with repairs. Hey, Dan, do me a favor, put yourself in a buyer's shoes right now. It's a great time to be a seller, but if your air conditioner's done and it can't be fixed anymore, let's be reasonable and either give them a large credit or just put a new AC in the house. You're making good money, right? Give them the house that they deserve, right? Be reasonable with repairs. Be nice. Be nice. Okay. Just because it's a crazy strong seller's market doesn't mean you can be a jerk and not fix that water leak or that broken window, right? I don't call them jerks, but I'm just saying that, be nice. So
Have a heart.
interesting clauses out there. Be very, very careful. Lean on Nancy and John when you're writing these clauses, because I agree, Nancy, adding that verbiage in there where the buyer and seller explicitly agree that if the purchase price or the appraised value comes in greater than that $10,000 gap, we don't have to reduce the price. Just adds more verbiage to the contract that might not be necessary.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, we have to be careful about that.
Mhm.
I do have a question for you, James.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
you're getting all these multiple offers. Can I ask what your standard of practice is for all the rejecteds? Do you have your seller initial it and let them know personally that they have been rejected? Or because
So it,
some agents seem reluctant.
so for us, right? Like I said, I have help, right? So I'm thankful that I have help. I have Stephanie and Jess Castillo, who's way better than I am. They're both way better than I am when it comes to all this stuff. First thing we do is we inform the winner and the backup offer, right? Because most of the time there's a backup offer. We inform them, right? And then we put the home active contingent, and we send an email and blind copy everybody else that didn't win. If you're receiving this email, I'm really sorry. The seller has not chosen your offer. If you would like page 9 of the contract, please ask us and we'll get it over to you right away. Okay. What I've been doing, especially when there's 27 offers on the property, I'm just having the seller sign the other page 9s no matter what. Because then it's just, in my opinion, it's just a belt and suspenders. Yes, we've emailed you. I've called as many of the agents as I can sometimes. Yes, I will text you if I don't get a hold of you, right? Sometimes I just don't have time, right? It's Sunday at 8:00. Sorry, you're going to get an email from us, right?
I appreciate that, because there are agents who don't let people know. And that's one of the biggest things right now. People will call the broker because they don't think their offer's been presented. So the fact that you
Exactly,
do
yeah.
send out and notify, that makes a big difference.
The issue that I'm running into, Nancy, though, is I'll start getting emails and texts and calls as soon as the home goes active contingent. My client saw it. I'm like, I'm sorry, I had to put it active contingent. We accepted an offer. We are in the process of getting that email out, right? We do the best we can
Yeah.
to get that email out as quick as we can. I made a mistake one time. I shot out that email to everybody that lost first without letting the seller know that they had won, or letting the winner know first. And that person had written an offer on another house.
Oh.
Yeah. It worked out. But still,
That's
it
scary.
was, and we're talking a 3-hour window, right? I was dealing with, and just, here's another wrench to throw in there, kids. I'm dealing with some folks right now where they are at, it is 3:00 in the morning tomorrow, right?
Oh.
We deal with a lot of military clients. There's a lot of folks that are 12, 16 hours ahead or behind, or however you want to look at that, where we're at. We do the best we can to get written confirmation of stuff as soon as we can. So if I have a WhatsApp text message from my client saying we want to roll with offer number 13 and we'll accept offer number 11 as a backup, I'm calling those offers. Hey, we're getting it in writing, we're good to go, right? I know I don't have it in writing yet, but I want to let them know as soon as possible so they're not out writing offers on other homes, right?
Yeah.
And I know I might be, to me, that's acceptance. We've presented all the offers, we've gone over them, they've made a decision. It's just they haven't had a chance to sign yet. Or I might have one initial, but not the husband's because he's working in a secured compartmentalized information facility where his phone is locked up,
Yeah.
right? Right, Nancy? Is
Yep.
that, yeah, I mean,
And speaking of working with clients on the other side of the world, what does that affect the time on the signature stamp?
I don't know. That's a good question. I haven't even really paid attention to that,
Because they could be missing the deadline if if the timestamp is their time rather than our time.
mhm.
I never thought about that before, but I'm just wondering.
Yeah, see, that's an interesting, but it's also a beautiful thing though, too. I can send a contract to somebody in Africa right now and they can sign it. Where we used to have to fax them and they would have, right? So great conversations to have. Be very, very careful with those additional terms. I'm not a fan of waiving an appraisal contingency altogether. In my opinion, I've told sellers, like, I think that could put you in danger down the road, right? Nancy, you waive your appraisal on a $300,000 house and then homes in the neighborhood start selling for 275. 6 months later, is there any, can you sue somebody? If
Well, it's not fair to the client at all to pay more than what the home is worth. I mean, I understand in this market, some buyers are willing to do that, but it's not a good thing. It really isn't, because later on they could regret it.
Mhm. Oh, I got orders and now I have to sell my house that I bought 6 months ago
Yeah,
even,
yep,
right?
that happens.
So having these conversations, just very clean contracts. When you send documents over, this is just me. If you're going to send it over with .loop or one of those digital signature things, send it over as a PDF too. Separate the PDF. Please separate it. It's so hard to separate all those documents, right? Give me a quick call. Shoot me an email. I love the little summaries that come with the offers. Hey, here's my client's offer. We're offering this price. We're closing on this date. Here's the basic terms of the offer. Look forward to working with you. Right. Yeah. And answer your phone. Answer your phone.
Yes.
This is
Say it louder for those in the back, James.
and the biggest part of our listing presentation is customer service. We have 4 minutes left. Leah, you having a good customer service experience during this transaction is more important than anything, right? You as the other agent on the other side, when you're working with me on a transaction, having a good customer service experience is more important than anything, right? I've made mistakes. I'm sorry in advance. If I make a mistake, I'm going to own up to it. If I'm dropping the ball on a deadline or if I'm not communicating with you enough or too much, just let me know. I'm a rip the Band-Aid off kind of person when it comes to delivering information, whether it's good or it's bad, but I'm going to deliver it with a plan. My job is to manage your expectations and make this happen as quickly as possible and help you make as much money as possible, right?
Yeah.
If something's going sideways though, please raise your hand and tell me. Okay, I can't fix anything if I don't know what's going on. Okay.
People really respect that radical honesty and that
Yeah.
frankness.
Yeah, things go sideways when you're selling a house. Hang on, get ready, and let's go. And I also tell people too, the stress level of everybody out there right now is through the roof. Get ready for it. My job is to manage that. Okay. I've had conversations with agents that I know very, very well where 2 days later they've called me back and been like, I'm really sorry. I didn't mean to blow up on you like that. My kid got in a car accident, or who knows what's going on with these folks. Life is happening, right? Be nice, right? Be nice. So that's it. My time is up. Anybody else have anything for me or questions, concerns? If you need help, you know where to find me. You can call me anytime. If I can't answer a question, I call Nancy or John. So lean on these folks, right? Ask for help. If John said it the other day, if you have to say, what if this, what if that, if you have to say, what if, or is this right? If you have to say that, probably a good time to call Nancy or John. So, okay. So if you're asking yourself that question, just give them a call or call me. I'd love to help anybody anytime. And if you really want to dig into these stats one-on-one, I love these things. I geek out on these numbers. So they're just such great tools. So, all right. No, Allison.
So much.
So if you have not completed the Survey Monkey that they've sent out, the link was put in the chat. Please do so.
Oh,
We
thank you
need
for
that
that.
for E&O insurance.
Thank you for that. All right, guys,
So
I'm out.
Thank you, James.
See you.
Thank you so much.
James, would you send me your stats back that's been doctored up?
Sure. Are you there?
I'm here.
Yeah. Shoot me a quick email and I'll reply with it. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah, that way I can
All
get it loaded to PC.
All right. Bye.
James.